Your logo really determines how your site looks. You want it to match the logo and really show when someone lands on your site, this is your site. Your logo image should be a high quality image with a transparent background, just in case you make changes to the color of the header. Having that transparent background is important. The second thing that you need to choose is your color combination. We have some pre-configured color options in the theme, and you can pick the one that best matches your brand. The second thing that you need to determine before you really get started is how you want your site to feel. One of the things that you can do with Altitude is to add images to the front page. You can have up to 4 front page options, images in the banner that rotates through. And images really set the tone of your site and make it more inviting and personal to your users. Once again, you want those images to be high quality because they are going to expand on larger screens. And the size that we recommend for those images are going to be 1920 by 500. And the last thing that you need to set up is the navigation for your site. One of the things that Altitude includes is action blocks. Those are those 3 blocks right underneath the banner, and you can have up to 1 to 3. And these blocks will provide links to important areas in your site or even other websites if you need to send them out to an email site. So just out of the box, Altitude is an amazing theme. But we wanted to include some special features in there for our customers that wanted even more. So we added some enhancements to our theme, and you can choose which of these that you want to include in your site. The first one that we have is the course catalog. Normally in the standard, and I have a picture here, you can see that the course catalog is kind of a list. It's expandable, but it's not really very pretty. It's functional mostly. So we decided to provide an option that kind of enhanced that page. So we made it match the theme. It is collapsible and it automatically expands to show your descriptions of your courses. Kind of simplified the display so it's easier to see what the categories are and what the courses are, and it provides a nice visual organized layout to the page. And really, the only thing that you need to do to turn this on is check a box. That's how simple it is. The second one that we wanted to look at was the quiz. Now, those of you who have been working with Moodle for a long time, the quiz has not seen a lot of updates in the past few versions. You can see from the standard picture, this is the way that it's looked for quite some time. The questions have this blue background in most of your themes, and that can be a little difficult for some of users to read. The navigation block is off to the left with the question information here, and that takes up a lot of space on your screen. So what we wanted to do is kind of revamp the quiz layout. We moved the navigation block up to the top, moved the question information above each of the questions so it doesn't draw attention to that area as much. And then we put the questions in a side-by-side layout. So it's a lot more effective screen space use than the standard layout. So I'm going to show you a final exam. This is what it typically looks like in standard Moodle, and you can still have this layout in Altitude if this is what you want. If you don't, then you come back to your user interface tab in the Altitude theme and check the box for simple quiz navigation. Save your changes, And now your quiz can look like this. And as you scroll up, those of you who have shorter quizzes will find this extremely useful. You can see the navigation bar sticks to the top of the screen so that they never lose that navigation function. Okay. So the last part is really one of my favorites. It's the Slideout block panel. The easiest way to identify a Moodle site is you have that column of blocks on one or both sides of the screen. And it really takes up quite a bit of space. You can see here, this one is just with it on the left. It takes up a lot of space in your courses, especially when you have it on both sides. And we really want our users to focus on the content that's in the center, in the main area of your course. So what we wanted to do is to provide more retail space, what we call it, on the main portion of the page, but move those blocks off to the side. So you still have easy access to them, but your users, when they land on your course page or your site page, they see what you want them to see, the main information. Sorry. All right, so I'm going to turn on this Slideout block panel. It is very simple, just a check mark and save my changes again. Now I can refresh this page. And you can see this Slideout block panel, the option here, the menu. When you click on that, your blocks slide out, so your screen kind of moves over to the right. And you have your blocks here as your options. And then when you're done, you just close it back and you get your page back again. One of the benefits of this too is that in your courses you may have one or two blocks that you really want your learners to focus on, maybe the calendar, the news. You can pull some of the blocks that they don't need to see all the time, like the administration block or the navigation block, into that block panel and then leave the calendar in that column so that they still see and they can focus more on the blocks that you want them to see rather than kind of getting lost in that column. And one of our more popular options is for our one-topic format. Standard one-topic format here that you can see, kind of plain. It's not very themed very much. It's just kind of plain. It has the tabs across the top that you can move from section to section. So we wanted to take this and make it a little bit more than what it comes in just kind of out of the box. So this is standard. Sorry, I'm switching screens too fast. Now, in your options here, you have the one topic enhanced style. You can choose none, and that will be right out of the box. You can choose enhanced tabs. Save that and refresh. And this is one option that you have. This works really well for courses that don't have a lot of sections in them. So you can see these different tabs across the top. And it still works the same, it's just a little bit prettier. Or you can choose this vertical option. And now the tabs are along the left side. And they still work the same. It gives you a little bit more space. It's very easy to navigate. It's very clean. And it gives your users the way to focus on the content in one section at a time. So the vertical one topic is very popular. It's one of my favorite course formats to use. Okay. The last option that you have is the enhanced grid format. The grid format itself out of the box is an amazing course format. It's very visually based. You can see even in the standard format, it's very clean. And what happens is you click on the image itself and it opens up either in a new window or in the pop-up your course content. So it's a very different course format than what you might be used to. So let's go take a look. This is the standard here. You can see when you hover over the link changes and you click on one and it opens up. But we have this other grid enhanced style that you can choose from. And really it just adds a little bit of theme to the to the grid course format. Save my changes. Now you can see it looks a little bit different, but when I hover over each of the images, I now get this one sentence instruction on what I need to do. So for those users who might come to this page and say, those are nice images, where's the content? This kind of gives them that little push to let them know they need to click on this to access this lesson. So, is everybody overwhelmed, overjoyed? What do you think so far?
Hey, Kristin, this is Don here. I've got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
From Justin Williams, will the tabs change color after completion of section?
No. At the moment, there is not a course format that I'm aware of where the CSS that determines the color for the titles is connected to the completion. That's a very interesting idea, and I would love to see what our developers could do with that, though. But no, not at this time.
Okay. Can the formats be different for courses? This is from Paulette Evans from AB Tech. Here.
Hi, Paulette. No, unfortunately, it's either it's the same for all the courses. So if you choose the vertical, it's going to be vertical every time you use the one topic format.
Okay. And Jennifer Rafferty asked, is this at an extra cost? And Jennifer, I can say that the Altitude base theme is free of charge, which I think you've seen. It's just the very basic theme. But we have a couple things that we can do. We do have an Altitude theme promo package where we can go ahead and do a mock-up of your site in your institution's branding, logo, colors, etc. That we can, we're pricing at $9.99, and it gives you an hour's worth of time with our developer as well. And on top of that, Altitude is a very customizable theme, and we can sit down and work with you one-on-one to develop a theme that is totally unique to your institution. So I would just ask you to reach out to your account executive and go over those options with them. Next question is from Curtis at Rockingham. Can instructors choose between grid and one topic vertical?
Grid is a completely separate course format from the one topic vertical. The one topic vertical is actually based on the one topic course format, and grid is a completely separate, so they can choose whichever they want.
Merle asks, is this a Moodle theme in a new version of Moodle? Merle, this is a theme that we've developed at Remote Learner, and Kristin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you need to be on Moodle 2.8 or higher. Is that correct?
Should be 2.7 or higher, yes.
2.7 or higher. And again, Merle, this is a theme that you should be able to find within the RL Update Manager. Trish asks, can we test the Altitude theme as it applies to our current site before it's released? I think I need a little bit more information. Will our own CSS transfer over as well? Kristin?
It depends on what the CSS is. If you're basing it on a different theme, it may not exactly apply. So once again, this is Bootstrap based. It's also based on Clean. So if you were using Clean and applying the CSS to Clean, then it's a good possibility it'll transfer over. If you're basing it on another theme, this same might not apply. So you'll just have to test and see what that is.
And Trish, the version that you'll need to be using is Moodle 2.7. Is that right, Kristin?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, at 2.7 and above. Darren Hall asks, are you releasing this theme to the community?
We have not been asked to release the theme to the community that I'm aware of. That is something that someone else will have to answer. But if they're interested in seeing what we've done, we'd be happy to share.
Can we still use CSS for customizing the theme?
Yes, and I have a few more slides to show, and I'll actually go into them a little more.
Okay. Curtis asks, is the Slideout block tested for accessibility?
Yes, it is keyboard accessible. We tried to make sure that the majority of our theme color combinations did meet accessibility standards. The one that we know there is a problem is the one that has gold or yellow as the accent color, and it's not necessarily a theme issue, it's more of a rain issue for those of you who are using rain. It is on our list of updates, hopefully for the next release.
Kristin, do our clients have the ability to customize the theme at the code level? For example, what if they wanted 4 active blocks on the front page instead of 3? Is that something that they can make that change?
No. You can only have 1 to 3 blocks. And one of the options that a couple of our customers have done is to actually take what they would have put in that third or that 4th block, excuse me, and use that as the text that can go over the banner, so you can have text and a link over top of your banner images, and so that works well. You also have space underneath your action blocks where you can add any type of label. You can put CSS in there to create your own blocks, and you also have the navigation in the header. So there are plenty of other options for creating that navigation that you need.
Okay. Sharon Brophy asks, after the fact, can I make changes to the CSS at will?
Yes, you can make changes to the CSS.
Okay. Let's see. Paulette Evans asks, once we purchase, what are the steps after the purchase? Paulette, I can say that everything with AV Tech was official today, so we will actually be getting in touch with you ASAP to get the theme installed on your test site and set up the time with Kristin. Okay. Rich I would suggest that Rich asked that he tried to add Altitude via the RL Update Manager on a sandbox site, and it just seems that it has locked up. Sometimes, especially on the sandbox site, that's a small site, the theme should install even though it looks like it is locked up. If you want to double check that, but if it hasn't, just put in a ticket with our support staff, and we will get that taken care of ASAP. Phyllis asks, can you change the theme based on course? They have another institution that uses the same site.
No. That's kind of a difficult question. The CSS is site-wide. The settings are site-wide, so you can actually change to any other theme inside the course, but at this time it's not possible to have multiple versions of Altitude on the same site. So it would be like adding multiple versions of any plugin that you have, so Kaltura, so any of those, it works typically like that. What we've been working on the custom side is creating child themes of Altitude that pull over those settings, and then you would have multiple child themes. That's still a work in progress, but if you're interested, you can contact your account executive for that.
But at this time, they could add Altitude for one set of courses and
Essentials for another. That would still work.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Some more questions here from Darren Hall. Are tabs with in a section in one topic format labels?
No, they're actually the titles of the sections. So normally when you have the topics course, you see that topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. It works exactly the same. So you would go in and change the title of that section. And instead of topic 1, it might be lesson 1 or week 2, however. So it's just using a function of Moodle.
Okay. Phyllis asks, only one banner?
No, you actually have 1 to 4 banner images, and the text can be the same or different for each of those banner images. We also have an option for a video that plays behind some text. The video is a little difficult because you need to find a video that loops really well because it will play it in a loop. And it's not too busy behind the text. There are some good ones out there, and there are some free ones out there that you can use. So just be careful which videos that you pick. And you want to find one that is hosted somewhere else. So it's not a video file that you can load, but you can put in a link to like a YouTube video or Vimeo, something like
that. Pete Wise asks to explain the installation process. And as far as I understand it, Kristin, they can install this theme from RL Update Manager. Is that correct? Manage add-ons?
That is correct.
Okay. And finally, great question from Trish. What is the compelling reason to make this change? I'm going to let Kristin answer as well as I'm going to give an answer too, but I believe really just to, for the sake of your users, the theme is much more intuitive, it's new, it's invigorating, it's exciting, it's just a great new way to present your content to your users. It's a very modern looking theme that your users are going to be more familiar with than what they've seen in the past from Moodle.
And just to point out, we like to imagine that our users are focused on the content that we provide them, that is the most important thing that they're looking at. But a lot of times your users are judging your content on the way that the site looks. So if your site has a very professional look and feel to it, then they're going to see the content that you have there in the same way. So you want your site to look well. You want it to be easy for your users. And you just want it to look professional and good so that it reflects well on your institution or your company and your content.
And Trish, yes, that is correct. You're not going to have overwhelming differences where users are going to be lost with the new theme, but it's more than just a surface look. You know, there are definitely some changes in functionality. You looking at the Slideout admin menu as one, you know, where it frees up real estate by moving that off to the side. So yeah, it's more than just design. And Darren has a follow-up question on his tabs. The tabs within a section in one topic, are they labels? His follow-up question is, he recognizes that, but within a topic, it appeared as though there was a second level of tab navigation, and I was wondering what those second level tabs represented.
In my demo course, which I can get back to, the tabs that are here, this is actually the RAIN tabs. If you're not familiar with RAIN, it's R-E-I-N. It is a combination of CSS and JavaScript and query, and it's just a different way to organize content on the page. We have several options. RAIN is a plugin that's available in mass, RL Manager as well. And these are just different tab displays that you can put in here. However, with 2.9 and higher, the one topic course format does allow you to use child themes. I don't have any on this actual course yet, but the child themes would actually go across the top, so it would be similar to what this tab looks like. And those would be inside of that course information, and then I might have the Meet Your Instructor, course objectives, required materials, and due dates as child sections.
Curtis asks, how did you get the nav menu, the next and previous buttons at the bottom of the course? Is this a theme setting?
The navigation menus for, on the screen that I'm on, I have syllabus here that goes to the next screen. That's actually part of one topic, so that's not something that we added. It is just part of the course format.
Rich Lewis asks, I just want to make sure I understand regarding the enhanced course formats. I'm not familiar with one topic or grid as course format options. So those are new formats that become available with Altitude, or are they in Moodle Core and I've just missed them?
They're not Moodle Core, but they are plugins that are available through RL Manager outside of Altitude. So if you choose not to use Altitude, those course formats will always be available. They're not theme related. We just decided that because we use them quite a bit with our customers and our clients seem to like those, that we wanted to include some enhancements for those two formats in Altitude.
And Jennifer asks, how much work needs to be done to situate content after the new theme is installed? In other words, would the old theme and the Altitude theme speak perfectly to each other so that there is minimal work to be done after the update?
That's kind of a difficult question to answer without seeing your site. It depends on how much settings you had based in your theme. If the majority of what you have set up on your site is Moodle core, then the theme should be fairly easy to switch over.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Okay. I have a few more slides to show. Some of these were questions that didn't get answered. Some of them did, so we'll just go through them really quick. The first one is a response that we get. They love the theme, but there's so many changes all at once. They're worried their users will be confused. So they want to know if they have to use all the options. Well, no. These are just options that we wanted to make available to our customers. So you can pick and choose which enhancements that you think are the most important to start with and maybe add some of the others later. If what you're most interested in is the vertical one topic and that's the only enhancement that you want, just turn on the vertical one topic. If you really like the Slideout panel and you want that one but none of the other course formats, just turn on the Slideout panel. So you get to pick and choose how many of those enhancements you want to use. I think this was actually one that was asked about the 3 action blocks. Is it possible to have more? So no, just to reiterate, but you can add text and a link to the banner images, and like I said, we have other options, the navigation at the top. You can add information below those action blocks or even in the side panel. The other question that we get is the color options are close, but they don't really match my colors. Can you customize the colors? Yes. The last tab in the Altitude settings is a tab that allows you to add custom CSS. You can either type it directly into a text box that's there, or you can just upload a CSS style sheet into the theme settings. As Don talked about before, we use Altitude package, and you get Altitude pre-designed to match your colors and your style. One of our instructional designers will help you make those choices about which of the extra options you want to implement as part of your site refresh. And we're not just going to design your theme and put it on your site and just leave you. We're here to support you in your entire implementation of your new looking theme. And we've talked about some of these customized CSS pre-designed Altitude packages, and I just wanted to show you a couple of them that we've done. You've seen some of what standard Altitude looks like, and this is just on the front page of what we've done. But we do our best to match your style and your colors and really your brand when we do these. So does anyone else have any other questions?
Julie asked if there's going to be a recording made available after this live session, and yes, there will be a recording of this webinar for you to review. Rich Lewis asked, can you put images in the action blocks on the front page? In all of the examples, I see icons, but what if we wanted pictures? And if so, is there a prescribed size?
No, we use the Font Awesome icons in the action blocks just to make it a little bit easier for a lot of our clients. However, you can add the block. There's a region underneath those action blocks where you can add other information you can create, or we can help you create some blocks there that will allow you to add images.
Okay. Marion Pope asked if I wanted to use the rain feature, is there a way to add it to each Moodle shell at one time?
Unfortunately, no. It's actually added through the HTML code, so it's something that you want to make sure that you're familiar with when you start working with rain. There is a rain help block that you can add to any course that kind of makes that code a little easier to get to. So other than that, you just kind of have to go in one at a time and add it where you want to add it. Okay, are there any other questions?
Um, uh, Curtis asked, the space there, is that a 2 or 3 column layout? But I'm not sure what space he is referring to.
The space under the action blocks is actually a 3-column layout at the moment. We are going to be switching it over in a new release to 1-column layout underneath it, but we can always make sure that we add something into the CSS for you to keep your 3-column if you want it.
Mario says that he's very excited to try this out, but has to run. Colin asks, in our current theme, Elegance, we have a background image and all the blocks and topics appear to float on top. Can we do something similar in Altitude?
Do you mean where the action blocks are? Yes, you could probably do that using CSS background image. To me personally, I think that's kind of busy, so I would leave them separate. But that's just my personal opinion.
Okay, we've got another question here for what are the costs for Altitude. Again, Altitude is a base Altitude, comes at no cost. You can add it to your site via the RL Manager block, Manage Add-ons. We do have an Altitude promo package that a branded pre-designed Altitude theme plus an hour of time with a dev is available to you, as well as a custom version that is very specific to your institution's needs. Please reach out to your account executive to get some quotes on Altitude for you. I have another question from Trish. So the next step is to contact customer service. Yes, Trish, please give your account executive a call about Altitude. They would love to talk to you about it. Curtis asked that he's been trying to add content but have been unsuccessful in adding in columns. Curtis, I would suggest give me a call, Curtis, or shoot me an email. Shoot me an email when you get a chance. Paulette is looking forward to speaking with you, Kristin. Is the custom menu still visible using Altitude? This is from Joe James.
The custom menu in the course?
I believe it's the custom menu that is at the top of the bar. Let's see if Joe follows up with that.
So this is the custom navigation that you can add to the top of the theme. You can see that it is still there. It still has the drop down.
Okay, Lisa Carruthers is excited to give this a try and freeing up some real estate for content. Marion Pope asks, is Altitude customizable with WordPress?
Not at the moment. We are working on getting it ready for Totoro, but we have not looked for WordPress yet.
Just wanting to clarify, if it is possible to update this to our sandbox so we can test before proceeding with updating the production site. And yes, you can install this onto your sandbox to develop and test. Just be aware, make a copy of everything that you do on your sandbox. The sandbox is for our support team to troubleshoot. You definitely want us to troubleshoot on your sandbox and not on your production site. So anything on that sandbox site could change at a moment's notice for supporting an issue that you may have submitted. So yes, you can test on your sandbox, but please make some backups do it. Phyllis asks, do you still have categories for the courses or just a list of courses?
You still have categories for the courses. The demo site that I used was actually just my site, my staff site. Let me see if I can get. So you can see I have 3 categories here, and when I expand this, then I can see all the courses in the category. I actually don't have any course summaries in those to show you, but those would also appear on this page.
And then Rich Lewis asks, so will the one topic and grid add-ons, the course formats, will they install automatically when we install Altitude, or do we need to make sure those are installed first?
You need to make sure that those are installed first. These just add some CSS and styling to those 2 formats, so you still need to install those as normal.
When will this theme be available to go live on a production site? Jennifer, as long as you're on Moodle 2.7, it is ready to go live. It is currently available for you. Again, contact your account manager if you have questions about customizing in the pre-designed Altitude theme. Curtis asks, how pretty can you make the dashboard with Altitude?
Let's see. We've worked more on the dashboard with some of our custom themes, but the actual theme does still apply to the dashboard. So you still get the blocks here. I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for on the dashboard, but if you have ideas, I would love for you to let us know what you're interested in, and if it's possible, we might could get it in the next release of Altitude.
Yeah, so Curtis, if you have some ideas, go ahead and forward those to me, and I will get them to Kristin. Let's see. Joe James asks, is the category display tied to the navigation setting that shows course categories?
Yes, it is. So how you set up your courses and your categories in the site administration and courses, manage your courses, that's actually what displays on that page. Now, you may actually be able to see courses that you don't have access to, but you'll only be able to see the link and the course description. You still won't have access to the course. When you click on it, it'll tell you that you're not enrolled. So those same rules still apply.
And Curtis asks, is the dashboard 2 or 3 columns?
It is 2. You have the column on the left, and then you have the main area, which is really 2 columns wide.
Rich Lewis has a follow-up question to his course categories, if he needed to add those first before adding Altitude. As a follow-up, any other add-on dependencies that we may need to install first before installing the Altitude theme?
If you are choosing to use the course format enhancements, the one topic and the grid format, those are the only other ones that you will need to install outside of Altitude. Altitude is based on Clean, so it will make sure that Clean is installed on your site. That is the only dependency that it has.
And Evelyn asks, can you put an alert notice on the front page? And if I'm not mistaken, at this point we can't, but that is on our list of enhancements. Is that not correct, Kristin?
That is correct.
So it is coming.
Yes. The other feature that we are trying to get added is the drop-down menu, the My Courses, that lists the courses that you're enrolled in. So that is also on our list of features for the future.
Sharon asks, is collapse topics supported in Altitude? And I believe it is.
It is.
All right. Any more questions? Right. Well, we got this within an hour. As you can tell, we're very excited at Remote Learner about it. I hope you're as excited as we are, and I hope that this webinar answered a lot of questions. If you have any further questions about the pre-designed Altitude package, some of you may have seen your school used as an example. I know Merle's here from Notre Dame, so he saw his. But please just contact your account executive. They would love to talk to you about Altitude and all things Moodle. So thank you very much, Kristin. This was a wonderful, wonderful Q&A session. Any further questions, just please submit them to your account manager, your CSM, and we will get those to Kristin and get those answered to you as soon as possible. Again, thank you very much. There will be a recording made available to you, so thank you so much. One more final question. What is the ETA for the My Courses link? Do we have a ETA?
I don't think we have one at the moment, but I can see if I can get one and let Dawn know.
Okay. Kristin and I will be here for a couple more minutes, but if there's any questions here at the end. But again, thank you very much for attending, and look forward to talking to you all.